Hello and welcome to episode 285 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1,001 movies you must see before you die, from 1988, the year of my birth. The year... Oh, my voice trembled then, did you hear that?
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'll just keep going there.
Yeah.
the year of my birth, 1988, directed by John McTiernan, Die Hard. Now, before we even get into it, I don't want to mention it, but I have to mention it. Because it seems like whenever people talk about the film, they don't talk about Bruce Willis's performance. They don't talk about Alan Rickman's really like cheesy and, you know, brilliant villain performance as Hans Gruber. They don't talk about the great action set pieces or anything like that. They just talk about, but it's a Christmas movie. If you don't agree that it's a Christmas movie, then you're stupid. And it's like, why is everyone so hung up on it being a Christmas movie? Yeah, it kind of is set on Christmas. There's a couple of Christmas songs whistled throughout the film. It doesn't really have a Christmas theme, you know, it doesn't feel Christmassy for the most part to me. Could you watch it at Christmas? Yeah, sure, I guess, it kind of fits. But, like, the people go to bat for it so much, like...
Just because it's cool to call it a Christmas movie.
I guess so, but I don't know what it is. Like, if that's the hill you want to die on, then I guess. But, you know, it's just the...
For you, the movie you have to watch every Christmas isn't a Christmas movie either.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it a Christmas movie. You know.
Anyway, let's go on to the movie.
I mean, a lot of people do say like The Wizard of Oz is like a Christmas movie because it's on TV every Christmas, you know. Even though that has nothing to do with... It's like a family holiday kind of...
Harry Potter is always on for Christmas.
It's a Wonderful Life. It's not really Christmas, but it's kind of... Anyway, but people they get really like super hyper-focused on Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
During Christmas.
There's
Christmas music in it and Christmas decorations.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it isn't, but they're just like, you're either with us or you're against us. And it's like, all right, calm down. It's
Samsung or iPhone.
Right.
Pretty much.
SNES, Super Nintendo, or Mega Drive. Alright, so Die Hard. I've only seen this twice, believe it or not. So when we watched it last night for this video, and it was the second time I'd ever seen it. First time I saw it was in 2014 with you, which I think we watched. There's another one like Raising Arizona, like Fargo. We watched this like years ago to do it for the for this series, and we just never filmed the fucking video. Taxi Driver's another one. So it's like we're going back to these films that we've already watched for the book that we've never actually got around to talking about for some reason. But I'd seen Die Hard 2 and Die Hard with a Vengeance when I was a kid, but I never saw in full the first one. So I'm not fully familiar with this, and me and you throughout the film last night.
It's a lot of stuff I didn't remember at all. It was almost like I was watching it for the first time.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I remember a lot of the big moments, but a lot of everything else in between was very like, almost like a new...
Remember the vent, that's it.
The vent is kind of a iconic moment, I guess.
Maybe I remember it because they have so many screenshots from it.
It gets memed a lot, that shot of him inside the air ducts. So the film focuses around Bruce Willis's character, and this is actually like Bruce Willis's breakout movie. Like this was, I think he was doing TV and other movies, but this was the one that really made him a star. And he plays John McClane, who's a New York cop who comes to LA to visit his wife. She works at this big business tower, Nakatomi Plaza, I think it's called. And she's following her career. He thought that her career probably wouldn't go very well, so he stayed in New York, and that kind of separated them a little bit. She's now using her maiden name at work and stuff, so their relationship is quite strained. He turns up, it's Christmas, they're looking at maybe reconciling a little bit, and you can tell that she wants to reconcile a little bit, but then they start arguing. And then, just some German terrorists turn up at the building and throw everything into the fire as it becomes a hostage situation. I love films that take place in one location or over one day like that, and I love tower movies as well. I mean, there's been a few of them. I mean, there's The Towering Inferno, the classic disaster movie from the 70s with Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. And then the movie with The Rock. It's just called Skyscraper, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dread. I like films where The Raid, just where you're going up a building and there's like different levels and stuff and you're trapped in a building.
Raid was great.
I love movies like that. So it's one of those weird kind of quirks for me where if a film's set on a train, I'm probably going to enjoy it. If it's set in a building, for the most part, I'm probably going to enjoy it. But this is also a pretty damn great film. What are your thoughts on the film? I mean, it's pretty much just showing you him stuck in the building, trying to find a way to beat these guys or to get the police from the outside to come in and help. And then the police are coming and they're not really making the right moves. And there's lots of stuff going on there. I love how they involve the reporters, the press, the media. and how they try to manipulate the system, how they kind of make things worse, and then the FBI comes in, and all these different approaches to dealing with the situation. He's the one in there kind of inadvertently kind of throwing a spanner in the works for the German terrorists. Your thoughts?
Good entertainment. I like the action. It's stressful in just the right moments and everything. It's frustrating, the thing with the cops and everything, because they won't listen to him. And he's obviously taken over the whole thing. I think that Snape's a good heel in this movie.
That's a sentence.
Yeah. His accent's not so good. It's like he couldn't be bothered. Like they were saying, well, you got to learn how to do a German accent. He's like, no. I'll just do whatever I want to do with a tinge or something like that. I actually felt like the blonde guy was more of a villain than him almost. He was like the super...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the long blonde hair.
Yeah. I mean, he just came at him. He's walking around barefoot, Bruce Willis. So you know that at some point he's going to be hindered by that. And what happens there is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's just Bruce Willis, isn't it? And Snape. And Al?
Yeah, Al. I really like that character. I think the actor who plays him does a really good job.
It's from Family Matters, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm wondering, was he a cop in that one too?
So he's a cop who gets called to the building, the first person who gets called, and he turns up, and it's a very cool, stressful, frustrating sequence when he turns up, and you're trying to see if he's going to kind of cotton on to what's going on. But then it's the ongoing back and forth on the walkie-talkie between Al and John in the building, and they kind of form a kind of friendship, and it's just a really well written and performed from both of them. I think it's just that kind of makes the movie for me, I think, because whenever there's stuff going on with the terrorists downstairs, like on the lower levels or whatever, and then we cut back and there's not really much action for Bruce Willis to be doing, so then he's got a scene on the walkie-talkie and we're building up that friendship, but also forwarding like the next steps of what's happening. It's like so well constructed in terms of every step that happens. It doesn't feel like a 2-hour movie, like it really just rattles by for me.
No, yeah, it's pretty good.
In a good way.
Yeah, it is. Limo drivers maybe a little unnecessary.
He's funny.
It's funny,
yeah.
but it's like...
Yeah.
I guess they just needed that kind of humor in there, I guess. He's funny, yeah, but at the same time it's kind of like, why keep him there till the end? Though he did do a part, but then at the same time, like, I didn't know he was doing his part against the right people. Anyway.
True.
Because he just rammed into... Anyway, it was an ambulance too. It's like, what if they were there to save them? I'm just going to fucking ram into this ambulance and hope it's the bad guys. It was very random. It was very random.
Hey, John, how's it going? I just punched out the ambulance driver. It's all good. Yeah, I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, it's like, how would he know? Anyway, so that was a little bit... that was just for comedic effect, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's just it's a crowd pleaser. You know, the film's a crowd pleaser.
But it's exciting. It's we sat there, like, come on, go, and stuff like that. It makes you kind of tense and so on. It's funny. It's 90s. It is 90s, isn't it?
Late 80s. So it's
okay.
on the cusp of being a 90s film,
I guess.
It's
more of a 90s movie than an 80s movie.
I can kind of see where you're coming from, I suppose.
But, yeah, other than that.
I think with a film like this, it's easy to... There's a few things I could point out, like the scene on the top of the building when all the hostages get taken up and John gets onto the top of the building and he starts firing off the gun like a madman. It's like, of course you're going to look like one of the terrorists. You know, it seemed like a really stupid move. And then also early on, when he first sees Hans killing someone, and he's in the room, he could have rushed in to try and save him, but it would have been pointless because there was like loads of people there. So he kind of did the right thing by staying back to see what else he could do. So you kind of know that as a logical thing. You know why he didn't get involved.
Yeah.
But then the next scene, the next scene, Bruce Willis is running into this room and he says, "Damn it, John, why didn't you save him? You could have saved him. But then I wouldn't have, And it felt like a really
He's
forced...
answering the questions for you.
Yeah, and that was the only time it really happened where I felt like I was listening to a screenwriter going, "Oh, they need to understand." It was a bit of a clunky moment of, and also at the beginning when he's speaking to the limo driver.
Yeah, but he seems like the kind of guy who would have that conversation.
He
with
does.
himself.
To be fair, that is a good point. I will concede that it does seem to fit kind of his character.
I didn't even think twice about that. I thought that was just something like that felt natural.
You know what? Maybe that's just me. I think that's actually me looking at it too much and thinking about it too much.
I would say that to myself in that situation.
Yeah, out loud was the only thing. But you're right. It fits his kind of. He's always quipping and being like that, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, but also where's we going with that? Also, there's some... Oh, yeah, the beginning with the limo driver. The driver's just like, "Oh, so you're married?" He's just like, "Yeah." "Oh, so what's going on then?" Like, he's really pushing, and then we get the backstory on his wife. It felt like a bit forced as well. But I think that they're very minor nitpicks in the film.
The limo driver pissed me off at that moment. And at the same time, who sits in the front in a limo? You always sit in the back when you get picked up. But maybe that was just Bruce Willis's way of protesting because he never got picked up in a limo before.
I suppose I also thought, because again I've only seen the film once and it was many years ago. I thought, oh, is this limo driver part of the group and he's like trying to get information on John? I don't know, because I'd forgotten, and then I realized, oh no, he literally was just like the right guy in the wrong place, I suppose, as far as the terrorists are concerned. Yeah. Alan Rickman, I think, is great, and I think I've read somewhere, I have some weird forgotten fact in the back of my... I think someone maybe tried to explain the accent away as like, well, he's German, but he's like international, and he has that kind of suave kind of,
He could have been German and lived in the UK for a while.
So you can kind of excuse it, and he's just so good. Like, he just has...
Everyone has the accent from the place that they come from.
Yeah, that's true. So... Yeah, but I just like the great scene between the two of them when he doesn't quite realize that it's him, or maybe he does, you're not quite sure, where he's pretending that he's like one of the people from the office.
Doing the American accent.
Yeah, doing the kind of weird American accent.
Quick thinking.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, there's not too much to really go into beyond that, I don't think, really. It's just a really entertaining ride, pretty much. Some really good fight scenes where... I could tell, oh, that wasn't Bruce Willis, but like it was really nicely done. Like you couldn't really tell. But also there's some stuff that you can tell he really was doing, and that was kind of like, I think...
I never noticed these things he does.
I don't know. But then it makes me appreciate it when I can see that it is the actor doing it, I suppose. But obviously he wasn't a big star at that point, so getting stuck in there and doing the stunts wasn't exactly I don't know. They wouldn't be protecting him as much. I'll leave that in as a big star, I suppose. Kind of. Maybe I'm wrong with that. I don't know. But like, particularly the fight with the blonde guy. We don't really know his name or remember if he even had a name. Well, he did, because he was writing the names down on his arm, wasn't he?
Maybe.
No, it was Lars. I don't know. Anyway, so that fight towards the end was really cool, and it's just like a proper scrap. Like they grabbed each other's hair and stuff, and proper like getting into it, and it was just really. You get into it. So I think that it's...
smashing face through a window or whatever it was.
Yeah, and, there's some other stuff, like some big explosions and things, and there's like a sequence where these helicopters are flying through LA really low to the ground through buildings. Like, that was like, holy shit. Because now they just do that with CGI. So, it's just some impressive, like, set pieces and stuff, good character moments, lots of...
Explosions look real.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely, like, big... Well, maybe not the huge one, like the C4 one. Maybe that was a little bit augmented, but...
And the one on the third floor or whatever.
Yeah, but for the most part, there's some pretty big. Like, there's like a tank that gets blown out. Anyway, so, it's one of... I think with action movies, you just get into it more when you can tell that the action's real. Yeah. Even though it's dangerous, but, that's...
You don't sit there and nitpick it.
That's why I can enjoy the Fast and Furious movies, if there's, like, good action and stuff. But when it's like a Tom Cruise movie, it's like, oh shit, they probably did that for real, and so you get more drawn into it. I don't know. It's just like a second level, I think, with action films. But there's also good character stuff, and there's a lot of, oh, it's that guy from that film. And so who's that? Well, I don't know what his name is. Like, oh, that's that random guy from Last Action Hero who gets the ice cone stuck in the back of his head, or it's Rick Ducommun, from The Burbs, and also in Last Action Hero. Just random little bit parts. Oh yeah, and that's the guy who's like in the sewer. And they're asking him to turn off the power, and he's mouthing the lines of the guy who's speaking. You get that sometimes in films where the actor is mouthing the lines the other actor is
Yeah.
saying back to him. And I thought, Rick. And I was looking into John McTiernan. I think John McTiernan. He did Predator. He did this film, Last Action Hero. And I've never made the connection before. In Last Action Hero, they take the piss out of Die Hard at the end, where the kid says to Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's like, they're talking about, like, you know, bad guys in movies who get killed at the end. He's like, what about the guy in Die Hard? He's hanging by his neck, and at the end of the movie he comes back. And
Oh yeah, true.
and because I grew up with Last Action Hero, I always thought that Hans Gruber died by getting hung by the neck. So when he doesn't, I'm like, well, what about the guy? And it just never connects with me. You got the Yippee-ki-yay moment, which is, and now Connie's just pointing out Lily sleeping
Such a weird
awkwardly
position.
in her radiator bed. Anyway, so it's got memorable, quotable lines as well. But is it a film you should see before you die? That is the question. Yeah, for sure.
Before you die hard. What? Oh, come on. Everybody's expecting it.
I wasn't. I actually really wasn't. Now you're just taking pictures. Okay, so Die Hard. Yeah, it's not a film that I love. Like, it's not one I'm going to go back to every year and be like, oh, Die Hard's amazing. But
Once every 5 or 10 years kind of movie.
5 years, I'd say. You know, but it is great. You know,
I want to watch the rest of them.
maybe not the later ones, but I remember the second one being okay. 4.0. I remember when they came out with the fifth one, Live Free or Die Hard, and I remember seeing the posters in Cineworld. It's like, yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia. And it's like...
Well, they're not allowed to write the other word. I think I watched 4.0 in Japan, actually.
I think I've seen it once, and I thought it was okay. But the third one's really good. Anyway, so that's it, pretty much. There's nothing much more to go into, I suppose. You know... Yeah, I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and as an action film, I think it is. I think it has the edge on other action films that maybe have better action in that it's well rounded with action, character, entertainment, you know, and it just very well paced. So,
Yeah.
all right. So thanks for watching.
It's a solid movie.
Very solid, and we'll see you in the next one.